Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life where something within stirs, a quiet but undeniable knowing, a whisper that says, it's time. And for you, that moment is now. You're not waiting to become a millionaire. You are not going to be wealthy someday. You are entering your millionaire phase right now. But understand this. Wealth is not something you chase. It's not earned through endless effort or struggle. Wealth is a state, the state of consciousness, a version of you that already exists, and your only job is to assume that version of yourself with complete faith and feeling. Close your eyes and see it. Feel it. What does the millionaire version of you look like? How do you walk? How do you talk? How do you wake up in the morning knowing that abundance is your birthright? You must begin today to live in the end, to think and feel and act from the reality of already being what you desire to be. Not I will be, not I hope to be, but I am. Because the truth is, when you assume the state, you become it. And here's the key. Feeling is the secret. It's not just the thought that creates. It's the emotion behind it. Wealth responds not to your wishes, but to your inner conviction. When you feel wealthy, the world has no choice but to align with your state. You must now begin to ignore what the senses say. You are not defined by your current circumstances. Your bank account does not determine your worth or your destiny. Your imagination does. Everything you see outside was once imagined within. The car, the house, the zeros in the account. It all springs forth from one place, the unseen world of consciousness. So I ask you, are you speaking to yourself as the rich, powerful, generous, creative being that you are? Are you holding conversations in your mind that align with abundance? Because your inner talk is your command to the universe. What you whisper in silence, life will shout in form. You are not hoping anymore. You are knowing. You are not asking, you are claiming. Every time you choose to feel wealthy despite appearances, you are shifting timelines. Every time you persist in that identity, you are rewriting your reality. And remember, no one else can do this for you. You are the operant power. You are the cause. The millionaire version of you is not coming. You are stepping into it now. Walk like it. Think like it. Feel like it. Because you're not entering your millionaire phase in the future. You're in it right now. Imagination is not mere daydreaming or fantasy. It's the very essence of creation itself. Everything you see around you, from the device you're holding to the clothes you're wearing, began in someone's imagination. Before it was real, it was a vision, a mental picture, an idea infused with belief. That same power exists within you, right now, in this very moment. Your imagination is sculpting the blueprint of your life. It is the workshop of your future. When you imagine, you are not just playing with thoughts. You are engaging in the most powerful act of creation available to you. The moment you vividly see yourself living in abundance, walking in wealth, feeling the freedom of financial flow, you are planting the seed of that reality in the invisible. The outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the dominant image held in the inner world. And here's the key. The universe doesn't respond to the world you observe with your eyes. It responds to the world you build with your mind. If you can hold a clear, persistent, emotionally charged image of your millionaire self, what you're wearing, how you're living, what you're doing. Your current circumstances begin to dissolve. The mind cannot distinguish between what is imagined vividly and what is real. So, if you can imagine wealth and truly feel it, you are already beginning to live it. This is why you must not let your imagination drift aimlessly. You must discipline it, direct it, fill it with the life you choose to live. See only what you want to see. Imagine only what you want to experience. Because imagination is not a passive escape. It's the most active, potent force you possess. It is divine, and when used consciously, it will bring the unseen into the seen, the intangible into form, and the millionaire phase you've envisioned into undeniable reality, stepping into that version of yourself before any evidence appears in your outer world. It's not about pretending or faking it. It's about embodying a truth that already exists within. You don't wait for the bank account to show 7 figures before you feel abundant. You feel it now. You don't wait until you own the dream house before you walk with confidence. You walk with it now. Because identity creates reality, not the other way around. When you assume an identity, you're not just adopting new thoughts. You're shifting your entire state of being. You're changing how you perceive the world and how the world responds to you. If you were already wealthy, how would you carry yourself? What choices would you make? What energy would you walk into a room with? These are not questions of fiction, they are directives. They tell your subconscious, this is who I am now, and your life reorganizes around that new self-concept. You are not waiting for a sign, an opportunity, or a lucky break. You are becoming the opportunity. The version of you who is already living in wealth and freedom has a different inner dialogue, a different emotional baseline, a different response to challenge. And you have access to that version right now, simply by choosing to identify with it. Not later, not after success. Now. You shift by believing differently, by feeling differently, by responding differently. And when you fully inhabit this new identity, reality conforms. Circumstances change. People treat you differently. Doors open. Because you are no longer aligning with who you used to be. You are aligned with who you have already become in consciousness. And that is the true power. To assume the identity now and let the world rise to meet you, to mentally and emotionally reside in the final result as though it has already happened. It is not about hoping, wishing, or asking. It's about knowing. It's about adopting the consciousness of the outcome and dwelling in it so completely that it becomes more real to you than your current circumstances. You don't look toward the desire as something distant. You look from it, as if you're already living it. See the world through the eyes of the person who has already achieved the goal. If your desire is to be financially free, then living in the end means thinking, speaking, and acting as the person who already is. How would you feel waking up each day knowing your wealth is secure? What would you do if your reality had already shifted? Living in the end is not daydreaming. It's mentally occupying the space where your wish is fulfilled and refusing to leave it, no matter what the senses suggest. This practice bypasses delay. When you live from the end, you cut out all resistance because you're not in a state of waiting. You're not trying to become wealthy, you're already there. And that conviction, that inner knowing, is what transforms reality. The outer world must bend to match the inner state. But this only happens when you refuse to compromise with appearances and stay loyal to the unseen truth you've accepted. Your job is not to figure out how it'll happen. Your job is to remain faithful to the assumption that it already has. You feel the joy now. You speak from fulfillment now. You take action from certainty now. Everything else flows naturally from that. When you live in the end begins to live through you. Feeling is not a byproduct of manifestation. It is the force that brings manifestation into form. Thought alone without emotion is lifeless. It is the feeling attached to the thought that gives it power, that impresses it upon the subconscious mind and calls it into reality. You may think of wealth, success, or freedom all day long, but unless those thoughts are infused with real emotion, they carry no creative weight. The universe does not respond to words or wishes. It responds to your state, and your state is determined by what you feel to be true. When you feel something as real, you begin to embody it. The subconscious does not know the difference between a vividly imagined state and physical reality. If you consistently feel wealthy, even when outer circumstances say otherwise, you are planting seeds in consciousness that must bear fruit. The feeling becomes the proof, and reality adjusts to mirror it. That is why assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the most powerful creative act you can perform. This is not about positive thinking or pretending. It's about dwelling in a state where your desire has already been met and allowing that feeling to saturate your entire being. Ask yourself daily, what would it feel like if it were already true? Then carry that feeling with you, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a new baseline, a new normal. When the feeling becomes natural, your reality must reflect it. This is not philosophy, it is law. Whatever you feel persistently to be true, you will experience. So choose your feelings carefully. Don't wait for conditions to make you feel successful. Feel it now. Don't wait for money to feel secure. Feel it now. Don't wait for love to feel whole. Feel it now. Because feeling is the secret bridge between the invisible and the visible. When you feel the truth of something within, the outer world can no longer deny it. The present moment is where all creation begins and ends. It is the only point of power you will ever have. The past is gone. It exists only as a memory held in your mind. The future has not yet arrived. It exists only as an idea or projection. But the present, this very moment, is alive. It is where your consciousness operates, where decisions are made, where beliefs are chosen, and where your state is established. Nothing can be created outside of it. Every time you imagine a future event, you're doing it now. Every time you recall a memory, you're doing it now. You are always here now. And whatever you accept as true in this moment becomes the seed of your future. That's why change doesn't take time. It takes a shift in awareness. The instant you accept a new reality inwardly, regardless of what's happening externally, you've set a new course, and it all happens now. Many people delay their power by saying, one day I'll be successful, or eventually I'll feel wealthy. But that delay only reinforces separation. The truth is, you can only be wealthy now. You can only feel empowered now. There is no other time to become who you want to be. If you continue waiting for the right conditions, you remain in a state of waiting, and the future continues to push itself just out of reach. But when you claim your desire as real in the present moment, you collapse that distance and begin to embody it immediately. This is where the shift happens. Not in striving, not in effort, but in conscious presence. By fully embracing the identity and feeling of your fulfilled desire now, you move into alignment with the version of yourself who already has it. And as you sustain that awareness in the present, everything else is drawn into harmony with it. You are not becoming, you are being. And being only happens in this moment. Your inner conversations are not harmless thoughts. They are the architects of your reality. Every word you speak to yourself, whether silently or aloud, is a declaration of what you believe to be true. These inner dialogues are not just mental chatter. They are instructions sent directly to your subconscious mind, which then moves to create circumstances that match those instructions. The way you talk to yourself consistently is the way your life begins to unfold. If you constantly tell yourself, I don't have enough, things never work out for me, or I'm not there yet, those statements become self-fulfilling prophecies. The outer world simply mirrors the dominant narrative playing inside your mind. But the moment you begin to speak from the version of you who is already successful, already wealthy, already fulfilled, you shift the entire direction of your experience. You don't have to wait for circumstances to change before you change your self-talk. In fact, circumstances will not change until you do. Begin now to observe your internal dialogue. Become aware of the tone, the assumptions, the beliefs hidden in your words. Speak to yourself as the person you intend to be. Use your imagination to rehearse conversations where you talk about success as a current reality, not a future goal. The more natural those conversations feel, the more deeply they're accepted by the subconscious. And once accepted, your life must conform. You are always in conversation with yourself, whether you realize it or not. The question is, are those conversations building the life you want or reinforcing the life you want to leave behind? When you make your inner speech align with your desired outcome, you activate a power far greater than external action. You begin to lead from within, and your world starts to echo the truth you've been speaking in silence. Revision is the act of mentally rewriting past events to align with the outcome you now choose to experience. It is not denial, it is creative authority. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what happened physically and what is vividly imagined with feeling. This means the past, as fixed as it may seem, is not set in stone. It lives within you only as memory, and memory can be changed. By changing it, you change the beliefs and emotional patterns that were born from it. When you revise a moment that once caused you pain, fear, or limitation, you are not pretending it didn't happen. You are reclaiming your power by giving it a new meaning. You go back in imagination and experience the event differently. You see it unfold in a way that supports your growth, your worth, your abundance. You do this not just with thought, but with feeling. Feeling the relief, the joy, the success that would have resulted if the moment had gone the way you now imagine it. Each time you do this, you are reconditioning your subconscious. You are removing the emotional charge that holds you in cycles of lack or self-doubt. You are planting a new cause in consciousness, which must produce a new effect in your outer world. This process is especially powerful when done in the quiet moments before sleep, when the mind is most open to suggestion. Your current reality is shaped not only by what you believe about the future, but by what you carry from the past. If the past holds trauma, failure, or rejection that you haven't rewritten, it will continue to influence your self-concept. But when you revise, you interrupt that pattern. You declare that your story is yours to shape, even retroactively. And by doing so, you release yourself from old limitations and open the door to a future no longer chained to history, but rewritten by choice. To ignore the senses is not to deny reality, but to rise above it. It is the conscious decision to place more trust in your imagination than in appearances. What you see, hear, and touch may reflect your past assumptions, but it is not your truth unless you continue to accept it. The senses report what was impressed upon the subconscious, not what must be. If you accept the visible world as final, you remain trapped by it. But if you turn inward and live from your imagined reality, you begin to create something new. This is the challenge of true creation, to hold firm to your desire, to feel it as already fulfilled, even when everything around you contradicts it. Your current bank account might show lack, your environment might whisper limitation, but those are shadows of old beliefs. They do not define what's possible now unless you give them power. You must learn to see with inner eyes, to walk by faith in the unseen. When you ignore the senses, you are not being unrealistic. You are being faithful to a higher reality, the one you've chosen to occupy in imagination. You are saying, this is who I am now, even if nothing around you seems to support it. And as you persist in that inner conviction, the outer world begins to shift. It must. Consciousness is the only true cause, and the senses are simply its echo. To trust the invisible over the visible is to reclaim your creative authority. You are no longer a reactor to the world. You are a deliberate creator of it. You don't wait for proof. You become the proof. And the moment you do, the senses will eventually reflect the new truth you have embodied, just as they once reflected the old. Persistence is the steady flame that burns through the thickest fog of circumstance. It is the unwavering commitment to remain faithful to your vision, no matter what obstacles appear or how long it takes for the outer world to catch up. Many give up when the first signs of resistance arise or when results do not show immediately. But the truth is, circumstances are often the last to change because they reflect the deep-seated beliefs held within. Persistence bridges the gap between your inner conviction and the external reality. When you persist, you send a powerful message to your subconscious. This desire is non-negotiable. This identity is permanent. You reinforce the new state over and over again until it becomes your dominant reality. This is not about blind stubbornness, but about conscious resilience. You acknowledge what is, but refuse to be defined by it. You keep feeling the feeling of the fulfilled wish, keep assuming the identity of the millionaire, keep living in the end, regardless of what your senses report. Circumstances may resist, but they cannot withstand a persistent mind aligned with a clear and felt intention. The universe bends to persistent faith. The outer world must eventually align with your inner reality, because what you persist in imagining and feeling as true becomes inevitable. Remember, storms come and go, but the mountain stands firm. Be the mountain. Your millionaire phase will not be denied because you refuse to be discouraged. Every moment you stay in your assumed state, every time you choose belief over doubt, you deepen the root of your manifestation. Persistence is the secret weapon that transforms fleeting dreams into permanent realities. Behind everything you experience, nothing outside of you can create or change your reality unless you first permit it within your own consciousness. The world you see is a reflection, a mirror held up to your inner state. This means that the source of all your wealth, success, and freedom is not found in external circumstances, people, or luck. It is found in you. Your mind, your feelings, your beliefs are the root causes that bring about every effect in your life. Many look outward for solutions or blame the conditions around them for their limitations, but the true power lies within you. The power to imagine, to assume, to persist in a new identity. When you understand that you are the cause, not the effect, everything changes. You no longer feel like a victim of circumstance, but the creator of your destiny. This understanding shifts you from reaction to creation. Your thoughts are seeds, your feelings the water and sunlight that nurture them. Your attention and belief are the gardener's hands shaping what grows. When you take full responsibility for the power within, you reclaim your sovereignty. You become the deliberate agent of change, consciously crafting your experience rather than being shaped by it. This operant power is always active, whether you recognize it or not. Every belief you hold, every emotion you entertain, every image you dwell on is setting a cause into motion. The key is to become aware of this and use it intentionally. By doing so, you step into the role of the true master of your life, the one who chooses what to manifest and when. You are not waiting for power to come to you. You already have it. You are the power. And so remember this, your millionaire phase is not a distant dream or a future event. It is a present reality waiting for you to claim it. Every moment you choose to imagine, to feel, and to embody the wealth that is your birthright, you set the universe into motion on your behalf. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are the creator, the operant power, the living force behind your success. Stand firm in this truth. Persist beyond all doubt. Ignore the noise of the senses and live boldly in the end. The millionaire you seek is already within you, ready to rise. Now is the time to step fully into that power and let your life be the undeniable proof of what imagination, feeling, and unwavering faith can accomplish. Your millionaire phase begins right here, right now. Claim it with confidence and watch how the world unfolds in your favor.